You're listening to the Love Unplugged podcast, episode 57. Today on Self Saturdays, I'm sharing an update on my personal self-love journey. So I've been a lot more quiet on social media lately as I've been working through some stuff on a personal level. And every now and then I plan to give you all an update as to where I am on my own self-love journey. And today marks the first episode of bringing you along with me. So let's grab a cup of organic chilled tea because it is freaking hot here today. And let's jump right in. You are listening to Love Unplugged, a podcast focused on love in all its forms. I'm your host, Jessica Frigon, hopeful romantic and founder of Project Love. I found that too often love is set aside or taken for granted, and we tend to forget how to care for ourselves and our important relationships in the day-to-day chaos. So let's slow down, tune in, and begin our journey of rediscovering love. From honest heart-to-heart conversations with real couples and knowledgeable guests to deep dive reviews of new products and services that will help you feel beautiful inside and out. If you're looking for relatable advice or wanting to be inspired by real-life love stories, you've come to the right place. Without further ado, let's get to it. Hello, loves. I'm so happy to be spending some time with you this Saturday morning, and I'm so happy to have you back for another Self Saturdays episode with me. So today's going to be a little bit different where I'm just going to be talking about things that I'm experiencing lately. And I'm not going to lie, I was really dreading recording this episode just because of the mental place that I'm in right now. And I just didn't feel like, I wanted to even talk about it, to be honest. But I feel it's so important to stay consistent. And I think it's really good to talk things out. And maybe this is going to help me kind of work through some things, just being able to talk it out with you guys. So I've definitely been in a funk in the last week and a half. I'm not going to lie. Having that busy schedule before really helped me stay on top of things. I had, a very structured schedule in place where I was able to do my day job, my night job, the blog and the podcast, have social time and then have me time as well. And with all this new free time that I've had, I'm not going to lie, the first month and a bit, I definitely took advantage of it. I took things really, really slow. I had lots more free time to, just kind of chill out and do what I really wanted to do, whether it was like binging a show on Netflix for quite a few hours or staying in bed all day, wearing my pajamas for 3 days. I took full advantage of this time that I had been given because I haven't had that in so long. Right? And, that month and a half was so great. I'm not going to lie. It was fantastic. I haven't had that in so long and I needed that break. But that month is now over. I'm not going to lie. I am so over COVID and I am craving to have my structured schedule again because I feel like I've just gotten so much more lazy and unmotivated. And all of these things that I'm feeling are coming to surface that maybe I was repressing before. And I am craving that structured schedule so I don't have to deal with it. But I know I should be dealing with these emotions that I'm feeling because you never want to repress stuff, right? So that's been really uncomfortable for me in the last week and a half where, I'm having to deal with all these things that are coming to surface. Another thing that has been really difficult that I feel like has been really impacting me in the last week and a half was just with all this free time, I was spending so much more time on social media, just browsing and seeing what everybody's doing. And, I downloaded TikTok and I'm not going to lie, it was fun at first. It's so creative what people do on TikTok and it is so entertaining and you can literally spend 30 minutes easily just looking at everybody's videos. So if you don't want to get stuck on a rabbit hole, do not download TikTok because it's addicting. I'm not going to lie. It's worse than Instagram. So I definitely feel like because of that, I've had to really take a break from Instagram and whatnot. I've been staying consistent with, posting for my podcast and whatnot, but everything else I've just kind of tried to step away and just limit the amount of time that I'm spending on it. I definitely felt like I needed that. And then with all these emotions that I'm experiencing, I just feel like because I have so much more free time, all these things that maybe I've had to kind of repress because I just didn't have all the time to deal with it is now coming to surface, which, I think is so healthy for us to avoid repressing any emotions that you're feeling, because it's just so not good for us physically, emotionally, mentally, and whatnot. But it happens though, right? So when it does happen, it's okay. But I definitely feel that when they do come to surface, it's really in your best interest to deal with them. So that's been really uncomfortable for me. I've been feeling a lot more frustration and annoyance and just, sometimes a little bit of sadness and whatnot, and just kind of like really frustrated with why I'm feeling like this. And yeah, so that's been something that I've been struggling with. And then these episodes have definitely pushed me outside of my comfort zone, which I think is amazing. And I think you should always be pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, because that's where growth happens. But something that I've been really struggling with these episodes is like, what do I even talk about? Like, what do people want to hear from me? Like, I just feel like my life is just kind of like regular. Like, what's so interesting to share? Right? And, just trying to come up with topics to bring up on these episodes has been really, really like a big struggle for me, because I don't feel like there's much for me to even talk about. I work. That's pretty much it. Like, what's so interesting to hear about all that? But then I have to keep in mind that, I love on Instagram or even on, podcasts and stuff like that, hearing about people's regular lives. I like seeing what they're cooking for dinner. I like seeing what they brought from the grocery store. I love, seeing them talk about their day and just checking in the between tasks and things like that, or, taking their dog for a walk or things like that. Like, so I have to keep that in mind, that people, even though I feel like I have nothing valuable to share, like it's not interesting to me, that it still might be interesting and valuable to others. So I need to get out of that mindset and kind of figure that out, and to start, putting together lists of exactly what I think people would want to hear from me, and what maybe put some polls out there to see if there's anything specific that you guys want to talk about. I need to kind of come up with a plan on how I'm going to deal with that, so that I'm not getting caught in that circle that I was getting into in the last week and a half. Another thing that I've been doing is, with all this free time, is making more space in my house, basically in my life, because I think your house is a reflection of your life. So working from home, which is looking to be like a more permanent thing for the foreseeable future, I've had to really figure out what my work station and what my workspace was going to look like, so that I may be able to really stay motivated and, accomplish everything that I need to for my jobs. So we had this spare room in our house, and I'm not going to lie, it was a dumping ground. And it was pretty bad. I'm pretty good at keeping things organized. I love organizing and clearing out clutter and all that stuff. But for some reason, I just kept throwing all these things into this room and closing the door. And it was all like my wedding stuff from back in the day. And, all these things that I did for my styled wedding shoots, and like everything to do with like weddings and like all that stuff in boxes, and just everything from that old business was kind of just living in this room. So I just really took the time to go through it all, and to unfortunately get rid of a lot of the stuff that no longer serves me and that I won't be making use of anymore. Like, I was collecting, a lot of wedding magazines, the really beautiful, expensive ones. And, those were my inspirations before. And I had a lot of fabric and stuff, because I used to create my own chair covers when I did the styled photo shoots, right? And just so much wedding stuff, and like props and like all those types of things that I'm just never going to use anymore. So just clearing that all out so I can give it away, or throwing out and recycling all the stuff that I'm never going to use anymore, was a lot more challenging than I thought it would be. It was more emotional, and it was weird because I love doing that type of stuff, but letting go of the past was something that I struggled with a little bit more than I thought I would this last week. And I thought, in my head, I'm like, you need to do this because I honestly feel like you need to make room for something like more to come into your life. You need to have that room and that space for it. And I think that holding on to things from the past that no longer serves you kind of hinders things from coming into your life that are good for you in the future. So I definitely knew that I needed to do this exercise. I needed to get rid of all this stuff, but it was definitely hard kind of saying goodbye to that chapter in my life and closing that off, which, I mean, I'm happy I did it now. I have a great workspace now. You know, I have my setup for my day job on one side of the room, my setup for the blog and the podcast on the other side. I have my shelf with everything that I need and all the equipment that I use and the books that inspire me and, you know, journals and teas and like all that type of stuff is just all organized, and I feel a lot more motivated. There's a lot more that I wanted to do with this room, but because we can't shop right now, I can't really do much. So I had to make use of what we do have in my house. But yeah, I plan to take it to the next level once we are able to shop and put some mood boards up and have a big whiteboard and stuff so that I can like plan out my goals and the things I want to accomplish and my schedule and whatnot, because I'm very visual. I need to have things up so that I'm seeing it, because that helps me kind of stay focused on what I need to be doing and, you know, the style and, you know, my brand and like all that type of stuff, and to stay inspired. So that's been something that has definitely been a lot of emotions to deal with this week. I'm also missing a lot of human connection. You know, I'm missing family friends that I used to see almost weekly, and I haven't seen them in almost 2 months now. And that's been really, really tough. So I'm kind of looking forward to this new easing of restrictions that's going to be happening soon to allow us to gather with groups of up to 6 people. So I'm hoping to get in some quality time with these people that I really miss. So that's been really tough on me this last week, just not being able to connect with them and see them in person. So what I've been doing to kind of deal with everything has been really just taking more breaks from social media and unplugging more. I've been really focusing on my reading list, so what books I want to start reading, and then diving into the ones that I have on my current list, which I love. I am a bookworm. I've always been a bookworm. I mean, in high school, to be honest, I would get so into a book that I would read all throughout the night, and then I would miss school because I hadn't slept, because I just had to finish the book. That's just how I am. I get into a book and I could literally finish it in a day in one sitting. I get so enraptured in this book, and I kind of like feel like it's a movie in my head, and I love reading so much. So that has been something that's really kind of helping me get out of this funk a little bit, piece by piece. I've been listening to a lot more podcasts that are kind of with inspiring people that just have this energy that just kind of help me kind of get out of this funk that I'm in. So like Jenna Kutcher is really, really good. I love Rachel Hollis's podcast. I love Impact Theory. That one's been really good as well. Amy Porterfield. There's just a whole bunch that I have on my list that I just tune into when I'm needing it. And then I've also been adding more to my self-care routine than I have done in the past. So I have a general self-care routine. I take care of myself relatively good given my schedule. But with all this free time, I feel like I've needed to add more stuff to it. So, I mean, yes, I do brush my teeth. Yes, I floss, all that stuff, but I've been taking a lot more time to do a really thorough job and, you know, floss and use my water pick and my mouthwash and just doing all that, you know, multiple times a day. Well, not multiple times, like morning and evening and whatnot, just because we can't go to the dentist. So I'm trying to make sure that my teeth are good, because I don't know when we're going to be able to go back to the dentist. And I definitely do not want to have any issues right now. So I've been doing that. I've been just taking more time to do some pampering, so facial masks and, you know, just using a lot more lotions, doing my nails, things like that. I've been putting a lot more essential oils diffusing around me. I've been taking a lot more baths with salts, which have been really nice. I've been exercising more, which is great. So I've been doing barre, and even if it's like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, a few times a week, that's totally fine, but I'm getting more movement in. I purchased this week that new class from The Class with Taryn Toomey, and that I did my first one today, which was amazing. It was such a great release, and I just feel like The Class is just such a good full body experience. You get the mind, you get, the physical aspects, the mental aspects, the emotional aspects. It's just everything all in one, and I love it so much. It's just feeling so good after it. And what I've been doing is just trying to show myself a lot more grace, and just trying not to be so hard on myself, I'm not a lazy person generally. I'm pretty good at staying on top of my tasks and my goals and everything that I need to get done. And it's okay that I haven't been as on it as I thought I would be during this time. This is a very uncertain time. It brings a lot of emotions and a lot of changes, and this is just my way of dealing with it, and that's okay. And I think that we need just to show ourselves more grace when we are going through these ups and downs, and it's okay to have those down moments, and you just need to do what's best for you in those moments. And hopefully all these things that I've been doing is going to help me get out of this funk that I've been in. And yeah, so that's basically me right now. That's what I've been going through in the last little bit. And I'm sure that you guys are going through things as well. So I'd love to hear from you guys. I'd love to know what you're experiencing right now. What does your self-love journey look like? What are you struggling with? What is going really, really well? What have you been trying that has been working out really great for you? I'd love to hear from you guys on that as well. So if you want to connect with me, head on over to Instagram. My handle is Project Love Co. and send me a DM. I'd love hearing from you guys. But you can also connect with me through my website at projectloveco.com. You can sign up for my love letters because I am going to be tackling that to-do list pretty darn quick, and there's some things coming up in the next week that I'm going to be sharing with you guys that I'm super excited about, and I can't wait to have you guys hear all about it. So I hope you have a wonderful Saturday, and I hope you take some time to invest in yourselves today. I'm Jessica, and thanks for tuning in today to Love Unplugged, the podcast. If there are any questions or topics you'd love answered on the show, head on over to www.projectloveco.com and share your request with me. If you haven't yet, go to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast and share it with a loved one. Your feedback means the world to me, and the community we've created is what fuels our discussions here. After all, this is all for you. Join me next time for another unplugged conversation.